I want to go back to Central Florida, and right outside of Orlando. Our Katie LaGrone is there. Real-time rescues happening in a neighborhood there. Unbelievable, and as Katie was saying earlier.
Did we just... Hey, guys? Can you hear me? Go ahead. Yeah. Hey, sorry. Yeah, what you're watching right now is one of 3 people that we've seen. This is the first group of people who have been rescued from the waters here in Orla Vista. That woman, she didn't have... Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. This is a little messy. It's all happening as we speak. That woman just said she's so happy. She couldn't even really describe the conditions that she was in her home. She said there was water everywhere. We also saw a mother and her son and their dog get off the boat, and the son described the water just coming in through the bathroom, and they've been waiting in their homes for Orange County Fire Rescue. And of course, Orange County Fire Rescue has just done an unbelievable job out here. They have been out here since 4:30 this morning rescuing people in this western part of Orlando known as Orla Vista. They were on the other side I mentioned earlier. They rescued several hundred people. They are now doing operations on this side of the neighborhood. We understand there's about 30 to 40 doors that they are knocking on, and they're obviously finding people who did not evacuate and needed to be rescued. And so that's basically the operation that's happening as we speak. I mean, just take a look at this neighborhood, guys. We understand this section of the neighborhood is filled with there are trailer parks, there are mobile homes, there's some single-family dwellings, and this is the operation that is underway right now. We actually we just sort of came upon it just as it was getting started. So we've seen 3 boats get into the water. Oh, here we go. Here's another boat, guys. I'm just going to take a minute. These are certified swimmers, certified divers from Orange County Fire Rescue who have been deployed here since 4:30 this morning, rescuing people from their homes, people who decided to ride out the storm Ian here in Central Florida in Orlando at their homes and are now paying the price for it. They are being rescued, fortunately, on these boats. Here's a woman.
All right, now we are looking at a live view of
as she's coming to safe ground here, and I know she's very thankful for it.
Katie, can you imagine?
One of the women who got off earlier. Yeah.
I was going to say, can you imagine they lost power, and here are some of these elderly folks, just in the dark and water, rising and rushing into their homes. And finally, being rescued here. They have to be so relieved right now.
Yeah, one of the women who got off the other boat, reporters, of course, are all congregated here, and we just simply said, "How are you feeling?" And she literally broke down in tears, and at one point she said, "I just can't talk right now." And here's another boat right behind this one, carrying a gentleman here. Look at all the stuff. I mean, these are people who, in some cases, are obviously coming off the boat with, here, we've got 2 backpacks that this woman has. I can't help but notice this gentleman here. Look at all the stuff on the boat. I mean, these are, you presume, are basically the only things he could save in his house.
And Katie, for the viewers who are just joining us, you were saying earlier they've done hundreds of these rescues at this point.
Exactly, right. We know that there are hundreds of people that have already been rescued from this neighborhood, men, women, and children who needed the help, and this is basically the second part of that operation, guys. And if you guys can just bear with me.
We're so sorry for what you've been through. Cannot imagine emotionally what it's been like. How long were you there waiting for help?
Well, I gotta tell you, these guys came very quickly. I gotta catch up with my cats. They're here someplace.
They got your cats too, right?
Yep, they do.
And they're okay?
So far, so good, yeah.
And is this...
But they're freaking without me right now.
What's your name doing right now? What's your name?
All right, guys, I'm going to let her... Obviously, this is an emotional time for her, and I don't want to
Excuse me.
Yeah, we just want to be very respectful. That's first and foremost for us. But yeah, this is what we're seeing in Central Florida right now.
Yesterday around 10 o'clock, the pumps for the water shut off, and then the water level started coming up. We had power up until about 6 o'clock this morning, which was surprising to us. It's like, please stay on, because every other time, right as the storm hit, we'd lose power. Got up, went to see if I could get out. Water was already about 2 foot down at our emergency exit for the trailer park. By the time we got everything set up, I now have about 3 inches of water in my living room, about 6 to 7 inches in my bedroom in the back, so front to back. And my shed is an 8-foot tall shed, and it's under about 4 foot of water. And it's actually on blocks about 12 or more inches. So,
Were you here during Irma?
yeah.
Did you have to get rescued then too?
No.
Okay.
And
Did you think that they had fixed the problem after Irma?
Yeah, especially with all the pumps that they were doing, and they've been pumping nonstop all week.
Thank you,
I
man.
just want to ask you, how are you feeling right now? I mean, I imagine that there's so much relief you're feeling.
My big worry was for the mother-in-law and the rest of the family. And I originally tried to get a hotel nearby, but they were asking like $275 a night.
So you tried to evacuate?
Yeah, I was going to originally do that because I have to have a place I know that can have power because I'm CPAP. We have a heart monitor for the mother-in-law because she's got a pacemaker. But I wasn't expecting this. Irma came up to about halfway of my property, but didn't come into. It came onto the porch, but didn't touch the house. This time it's like, holy mackerel! This first trailer here is actually underwater. Mine's the next one next to it.
What's your name, sir?
I'm David.
David?
David Phillips.
David Phillips. How long have you lived here?
Going on almost 20 years now.
You said this one's different. Why is it different?
The amount of water. Normally the pumps stay until almost the last bit of the thing, but this time the pumps cut out, like I said yesterday, about 10. And it's like, steadily came up.
So they've cut out long before the power did.
Yeah, wait. And usually if we lose power, the pump station will lose power. So it's like, I don't know what
Do you think
happened.
the fixes were actually made after Irma?
Well, they attempted to bring the water level down, but when the pumps went off, the big lake out there, the water rose really quick.
The one up there.
How many folks do you think are in there still?
In here, to my knowledge, probably about 7, maybe 8 families.
Men, women, and children?
Yeah. Now, there's a family that's up on the hill where they're not really in the flood area, and they can easily get out the back gate if they want. But the whole center area of this, there's at least 2 foot of water all the way around.
We're so happy that you're safe, sir.
Oh, yeah.
We're so happy that you're safe.
Phillips?
And
Yes.
Okay.
guys,
David Phillips.
Yes.
I just, yeah, so that's basically the case here in Orange County, and this is what Orange County Fire Rescue has been dealing with all day. This is the aftermath of Ian, guys. Real, raw, stunning, sad, but these are the moments that you celebrate. These are the moments that we celebrate because it's not happening across the state.
Katie, I understand you're out in that neighborhood and you're on a boat right now. Is that true?
That's right, Jameson. We're actually on one of the rescue boats that we've been watching all afternoon. We're here with Jason Oft from Orange County Fire Rescue and his crew member. I gotta ask you guys, I mean, we're just taking a look. This is the first time that we're actually on the water through this neighborhood where you guys have been working, rescuing people. What has it been like for you?
Well, we came on here about 5 o'clock this morning, and on the backside was the main area we had calls coming in, and we were out here till about 10:30 in the afternoon, or 10:30 this morning, and we pulled about 150 people out by boat and about 30 to 50 animals.
Wow. And Matt, if you want to even just show our viewers, I mean, look, this is the neighborhood, guys. This is on the west side of Orlando. Oh, wow. Look at the mailboxes. I mean, this is the first time we're seeing inside, just as you guys are seeing this. We've been obviously on the outskirts of this neighborhood, just watching these crews go in. As Jason said, they've been out here since about 5 o'clock this morning. We've seen, we know that, men, women, children have been pulled out. I know, Jason, how long have you been with the Orange County Fire Rescue Department? How long have you been doing this?
16 years.
Yeah, so have you ever seen this neighborhood this high?
No, we've worked this area. I've been in this area for about 13 years, and they had flooding in 2017 when it came through, but not as high as this was. We flooded the backside flooded, but it wasn't this high or make it that far out towards Overton Garden.
And when you end up rescuing them, I mean, what's been the reaction when you guys show up?
They've been pretty thankful so far. Once in a while, they are panicking because there's so many people that want to come out at one time, especially when we got here. Especially with the next street we come down, it's going to be Ronnie Circle. When we originally got here, we had four of us were on foot, and we just had 2 boats circling, and we couldn't get the boats back out fast enough to get people out, and they're all yelling more, hey, we need help here, and we were trying to get them together, putting them on top of cars to try to keep them out of the water.
Wow, oh my gosh. Guys, I just want you to take this in. I mean, this is real life right now in Orlando. This is Central Florida, where I know flooding for you guys was always the biggest issue with Hurricane Ian. And so this proved to be basically the disaster that you guys expected it to be?
Yep, and in the same spot. So heads up, there's the cars underwater right here.
Oh, wow. Guys, are you seeing this back at the station?
Unbelievable that the flooding is that high, all the way covering up their vehicles, not to mention,
look,
I mean, the feet into their homes.
That's the top of a vehicle, Wendy.
That is the top of the, yeah,
look
that
at
is,
the top.
the car is completely.
That's the top of a car.
Yeah, completely underwater.
Completely submerged.
Wow.
Yeah, and Jason, I know what was stunning to me is, guys, not everybody in this neighborhood has chosen to leave, right? There are people who are literally right now still in their homes.
Yep. Especially on the further side over, we go that way. It's still a lot lower. They got water coming up. They're like, when we get pulled out, we may be redeployed someplace else to go assist with someone else. We might not be able to have a boat back here for a while. And they said, we're staying.
And why? What's their reason? Do they give a reason?
They really don't. They just said, we're not going anywhere. Someone said we have animals that can't. And I said, well, bring them along. We'll get them out. Meds and animals, and let's head out.
And you can't force them out?
Nope. Yep. So, like, okay, I'm letting you know we won't be back. And in case we get redeployed. And obviously we've been back because we haven't been moved on yet. But.
And how long do you expect to be doing these trips? How long do you expect to be out here doing this work?
So we ended up back out here again because we got a couple of phone calls that people now wanted to come out. So that's why we ended up back over here again. Otherwise, we would have been redeployed someplace else to assist with someplace else in Mountain County.
So do you think you'll be out here tomorrow again?
I think the number of people, because I was out here from the start, I kind of had an idea where a fair amount of them were. And I think minus a couple of families that are still on that end, that I know where they're at. Most of them all this way, they decided to leave at this point.
Wow. This is unbelievable, guys. So this is the aftermath of Hurricane Ian in Central Florida, specifically Orlando. Of course, this is the part of the state, guys, that didn't get the brunt of the storm. But yet, you wouldn't know it. Looking around as I'm looking for the first time, just as you are, at the scene here in this western part of Orlando, where this community, homes are flooded halfway up, cars completely submerged underwater in an area, in a part of the state that wasn't hit as hard by Hurricane Ian. And you know, I talked about it earlier today, how what's stunning to me about this storm in Florida is everywhere it struck, it made history. And here in Orlando, city beautiful, it is no exception here.
I'm still just shocked at that video that we just saw from Orlando, because we were talking about it. And I mean, Jameson had said that that is known as a flood prone area. And I don't know if Katie can actually hear us. Katie, I think we're seeing it right now, but we're sitting here and just wondering, is that an area that actually has had flood problems in the past, or did this just literally come out of left field with everything failing at the same time?
Yeah, it looks like they're doing a rescue right now.
Guys.
Oh, she's available to talk. Okay, Katie, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, hey guys, right. As we were making our way back, there were people outside the house. And so there's Jeff and his crew member. They just jumped out of the boat and they grabbed them. So you're watching this happen. I'm actually holding on to my photographer so he doesn't fall back. But to answer your question, Dennis, this is an area that has been known to flood before. Oh wow, here, you can see the National Guard is on site as well. It is adjacent to 3 retention ponds, guys. So it's a low-lying area, plus you've got the 3 retention ponds. And so that is basically, it all converges to create sort of this disaster area for fire rescue. Typically when there's a really bad hurricane. However, they have never seen water this high here. This is not normal. This is not typical. You're seeing, it looks like there's a man, there's a woman, there's a
National
child,
Guard there.
as we've talked about. The National Guard. We just saw them come in about an hour or so ago with their big trucks. All of this happening as we speak. And you know what was stunning, if you remember when I was talking to Jason, that look, I mean, not everybody wants to leave. Mm-hmm. And so these guys have been out here since 5 a.m. this morning, and they have visited homes where the person at the moment has said, nope, I'm good. And then they get the call that, nope, I need the help now. And so they have been back and forth out to this neighborhood, different sections of the neighborhood throughout the day. And one of the guys I spoke with earlier said, yeah, they think that they're going to be out here for the next day and a half. People who originally didn't want to leave and then realized, you know what, we can't take this. The water's, not quite receding or going out as fast. And so here we have another family in what has been, I've heard 150, I've heard a couple hundred. I can tell you some of the guys, it's been happening so often here, guys, that it's hard to keep count. And that's what I'm hearing, is that, look, we just go. We're not really thinking about the numbers, we just go. And right now, even with us, this was sort of supposed to be a little bit of a media ride, right? This was supposed to be just me and the guys kind of touring this area on boat to see what they've been dealing with throughout the day. And as we were doing just our thing, our little sort of media clip, here's a family that walks out of the house saying, we need the help. And what do? They just jump in. I said to Jason, he had the mic on. And I said, wait, let me get the mic. He said, oh my God, yes, get the mic off. He was ready to jump in. That's what they do. That's what these guys do. Certified swimmers, divers, this is a special team that is ready, willing, and able, and they jump to it when they have to. And this is the scene in Orlando, and it's striking. I mean, it's stunning. I've never seen anything like it.
Katie,
I've never seen anything like it, and I know we're hearing that a lot.
Katie, it's Dennis. I wanted to ask you a question. So what we're looking at right here, that has nothing to do with surge. And that's what I'm finding is absolutely unbelievable.
Right.
Because, normally when you see a storm surge come into an area, you will see pictures like this. I mean, I think a lot of folks look at this and they think Katrina.
There's somebody else.
Hey, Fern.
But have these men...
Look, Matt, if you want to pan around. Wait,
they're
hold on,
doing
guys.
another rescue right now,
Matt, turn around. See, so I don't know. Here's somebody else who has come out of the home. We don't know what the situation is. We don't know if this is somebody who's prepared to stay here or not, but here's the boat. We're making our way to this woman to see if she's ready to go. And it looks like she might be. It looks like she has, what does that look like, an ice chest?
Yeah.
And the question is she ready to go? we're just going to watch this, guys. Yeah, she's got what looks like is an ice chest.
Need some help?
With probably the only belongings that she could carry with her.
You sure?
She says she's okay.
Where are you headed? Out? Okay. We can take you out the rest of the way if you need it. Are you good? Okay.
So Jason, she declined the help.
Yes.
And that's just happens, huh?
Yeah.
I guess they don't always want the help.
Yeah,
So
no.
this is somebody who's making their way out with some personal items you can see, and they don't want the help. They are declining the help. Jason just said, hey, we can give you a ride. And we were told no.
Katie, has Jason ever done rescues from storm surge? In other words, ones like Katrina, where the water comes in from the ocean or the Gulf? Because this is not storm surge. This is just fresh water. This is rainwater that just builds up. And I honestly can't say that I've ever seen anything like this. So I've seen it with a storm surge, but not with just flooding.
Yeah, I'm miking up Jason now. That's a great question. Our chief meteorologist, Dennis Phillips, Jason, is asking, have you guys ever done rescues where it's been the result of storm surge?
So back in 2017, they had an issue with the storm surge coming in off of the same kind of the deal, off of these retention ponds.
And how did that differ from what we're experiencing
It's just
now?
higher waters this time.
Higher waters.
Wow.
Higher waters, Dennis, than
Than it was in
what we're dealing with in this neighborhood. So this is a combination of retention ponds, low-lying area, and just a whole lot of rain, which has always been the issue. That has always been the main concern here in Central Florida with Ian, was this rainfall and flood. And it's obviously, they were expecting potentially historic conditions, and clearly that's what they're getting. We've seen it. We're obviously seeing it here. We've seen it in downtown Orlando. We were there earlier this morning where we saw some amazing flooding. This is actually, we're now starting to make our way out, and you can see the person that we saw walking just choosing to walk the way out. And the question is, why did they wait so long, right, guys? I know crews have been here throughout the day, right, Jason? You've been here. So how many times have you been specifically in this neighborhood today?
So this is the third time we've come back since we've left. And we probably, the amount of circles we made around Ronnie and Hope Circle, I couldn't even tell you how many at this point. This gentleman here has been driving this boat and bringing them out all day.
I just want to make sure you guys heard that. Third time. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, third time, yeah.
They've been out here 3 times.
I think I'd also be concerned of what's in that water, right? I mean,
Not the cleanest water.
Yeah.
Well, manhole covers
Right.
too have a tendency to
What's
pop
in the
off, and
water?
you could step in those, and that's when
That's
things
a
can
great
get
question.
really bad.
Anything and everything.
And if you have an open cut, that can be very dangerous.
That's why a boat would be great.
Yeah.
Right, which is exactly why, which is why fire rescue crews are out here. We've seen the sheriff's office also. We've seen, some of their posts that they've also been doing rescues. I mean, this is what today has been for these crews. It's just been rescue after rescue after rescue, and it's not stopping.
Katie, have they ever seen anything like this before?
No, not this high. They're used to doing fire rescues. They're specially trained for doing fire rescues, but they tell me that they're this high. They've never seen the damage. I mean, we saw water here. That's a first for these crews who know this neighborhood well, who know this low-lying area quite well. From here, they've been taking people who they do rescue and they go to a hurricane shelter. The question is, what happens after that? What are they coming home to? How long will this water take to recede? We understand that it's sort of a combination of pumping the water out and also letting it recede, but it's still pretty deep, and it's been a very long day for these rescue crews.
If you've been watching our continuous coverage, you know Hurricane Ian also left its mark in Central Florida.
Yeah, and that's where we find our Katie Lagrone, who's been with Orange County Fire Rescue for the whole day, documenting their efforts and saving lives. Katie?
Yeah, hey guys, here in Central Florida, of course, Hurricane Ian also left this historic mark on the city with all this rain. That was the big concern, was going to be, what is that rain going to do to flooding? And here in the city, we are dealing with some historic flooding. And this is an area, and I don't know if you can see, so much now that it's starting to get a little darker, but this is a neighborhood. It is actually known for having problems when it comes to flood. It's low-lying. There's 3 retention ponds nearby, and it's all converged. Couple that with, of course, Hurricane Ian's rains last night during the overnight hours into this morning, and this neighborhood is just completely ravaged right now. And earlier today, we went out with water rescue operation teams with the Orange County Fire Rescue. They took us within the neighborhood. They've been spending since 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning, going to different homes around this Orla Vista community on the western part of the city, going and rescuing people from their homes. We were with them while they did it. We saw homes halfway underwater, cars completely submerged, mailboxes, fences. It was just an unbelievable sight. And even for these rescue crews, some of them who have been in this area working this specifically flood-prone area for years, they said they've never seen it this bad. Residents, and at one point we were actually there when a family of 3 came out waving their hands to rescue operators, asking them for a rescue, and these guys, that's what they do. I mean, I had a mic on one of the guys. I had to actually remind him, hey, let me get that mic off of you. He just basically jumped in, grabbed the family with a child, and got them to safety. When I asked the family afterwards, I said, why did you wait? And the mom said, look, we thought we could ride it out. We didn't expect our home to be flooded, and their home is completely destroyed at this point, and they're one of hundreds of families, guys, who were rescued today just in this area. And it's important to note, we've been focused on just the strike team that was deployed to this specific area, this Orla Vista community. Well, there are flooded neighborhoods like this across the county here in Orange County. So they have other teams that have been working around the county in different neighborhoods trying to rescue people. They also expect to be out here tonight. These are homes, these are people inside their homes. They do not have to be evacuated. There's no mandatory evacuation, even as the floods are, chest high and beyond, covering half of a home. They can't mandate that these people leave. And so even as we speak here tonight, guys, there are still people who are waiting it out. They have declined the offer to hop on one of these rescue boats and get out of Dodge. They're still in their home just kind of waiting it out. I know as far as how long it's going to take this flooding to recede, we just don't know. Now the rain's finally stopped. We've had a good bit of time that the rain has stopped. There's some pumping, I understand, in addition to sort of the natural just receding. But they expect to make calls. They've been kind of coming to the same neighborhood a couple times just because people will say, look, we're going to decline, we're good, we're staying put. And then a couple hours later, they get a call that these people want to go. And so they expect to be doing this round the clock tonight, a couple rounds into probably tomorrow, for at least the next 24 hours, as people just continue to sort of wait it out and then finally get to that point where it's just too overwhelming and they say, come get me.
All right, Katie
Guys, back to
LaGrone.
you.